All right, technical issues. So let's start again. Welcome to the Nigeria We Want, the show like no other. My name is Vicky Falaji. I'm the host of the Vicky O Show and the Nigeria We Want. Our panelists, Wale Olaiton and Elvis Nwachuku, will be joining us shortly. Thank you for joining us today. We had to take 2 weeks break. It's been a great time, but we're back. We're back in full force. Now, before I bring in the panelists, I would like to show you the videos of our sponsors. We have two at the moment, and they are fantastic. Because they support us, we're able to bring this show to you on a weekly basis. The first business that we would like to thank, they called Capstone Medical Center, Bainsdale, group of medical doctors coming together and providing essential medical services to people within the community. Fantastic group of doctors, wonderful staff members. Just check them out. All right, that's Capstone Medical Center, Bainsdale. Now, we'll move on to Eminent Design. They're based in Aylesbury in United Kingdom. Just check them out. All right, that's Eminent Design in Aylesbury, United Kingdom. Order anything from them, you get £5 discount on Vicky O Show. Okay, so just let them know you get to know about them from us, Vicky O Show. Now I will bring on our panelist. Welcome, Mr. Wale Olaiton, our moderator. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
How has it been? 2 weeks off.
It's really good to be back, you know.
Yes.
To say that I miss everyone and I make the show is just
Exactly.
an understatement. But most importantly, I think it's good to be back. Last week, we were with you
Yes.
celebrating the life of your mother,
Mama.
Mrs. Folaomi Shijuade Ashaolu.
Yes.
It was a beautiful celebration of a life well spent, and
Mm.
also with that occasion as well, there was official launch of Mama's Foundation,
Yes.
Folahan Mishijuade
Mm.
Ashaolu's foundation. For those that are viewers at home, Mama in her life spent a lot of time on charity, looking after the needy in the community. She extensively worked with widows in the church, young people in the community
Mm.
that needed one help or the other. Mama was there to support them with little finances. So, in her honor, a foundation has been established, and we definitely encourage people that really want to donate. There's a GoFundMe page that
Mm.
was specifically set up for that. So if you really want to contribute to keep Mama's legacy, we definitely encourage you to check it out. Again, for Laom Ishijuade Ashaolu's Foundation. Thank you. Omoriri Agbeyin gbogbo wa o.
Amen. That's the prayer. I appreciate you. I'll just bring. Oh, sorry. All right. So, Mr. Elvis, welcome. Join me to welcome Mr. Elvis. Igbo Kwenu.
Yeah, first of
Thank
all,
you.
and a round of applause too.
Welcome back, bro.
Welcome back. Honestly, we were together last weekend, but it feels like it's been a long time. I've missed this. I've actually missed this. So you're welcome back. How's it been for you?
Yeah, all good, Vicky. Actually, you took the words right out of my mouth. It feels like what I just mentioned is 2 weeks break we've had. While Aisha is 2 weeks, it feels like we've been away for 2 months already.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. It's
absolutely.
just exactly how it has been for me. And before we actually go ahead with tonight's show, I want to first of all appreciate the two of you. You two were brilliant. Honestly, I'm just like, wow, wow, wow. You did really well. You did really well. Everyone commented about how you did the job of emceeing the event. You did it really well, both of you. You were a great match. So, and I had all these thoughts going on about where we can take this, which we will talk about when we have a meeting on the 17th. So I'm
That's
looking
Looking
forward
forward
to
to
a
it.
Malone point. So I will be talking to the caterer to make sure she gets all this amala ready for us. We are going to really do the job. What you couldn't eat that day, we'll eat it at Adonai. Okay, so
that's all right.
let's.
Look, yeah, it's all right. Look, Wale and I we're really elated. We're happy to be part of your lives, and we're glad. Just hearing that feedback from you, we're truly happy the night went well.
We did.
I know Wale said a few words about the foundation. I just thought I might add as well, for those who are not aware, Mama also ran a food bank. She looked after the needy. She looked after people who were in need, desirous of that assistance. He paid school fees for children who their parents had the desire to send them to school but couldn't afford it.
Mm.
She also helped out with paying the fees for people who would rather than go to school but engage in learning one trade or the other. So this is a legacy that should be kept alive. It's a good thing, and I'm quite happy Vicky has elected to take this on, and we're counting on the support of the entire community, on everyone who's watching, to keep this dream alive. So yeah, that's good one, Vicky, and we just know we've got your back. We're here to support you in every way possible.
Thank you. And thank you so much. Thank you for those wonderful time, talking about it, and your donations. you got the ball rolling. Now we've set up the GoFundMe account. So we've started receiving donations through the GoFundMe account, which I will I'll put up the details later on. So I want to say a very big thank you to you and to Kemi Odubote. She'd already donated. So we will be announcing names. So Mr. Nwachuku, thank you for the donation of $500. Mr. Wale Olaiton, thank you for the donation of $200. I'm not sure.
Yeah, 200. I promise. Yeah.
Omoga, is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
$100.
99.9.
Yeah,
No, but you have a special number. 99.99.
Exactly, $99.99. So thank you, Omoga, and thank you, Kemi and Dakpo Odubote for the donation. So we will be announcing the those people that are coming forward to put some money into it. So thank you. So tonight we have another great show. But before we do that, we normally talk about updates. I really don't have much update when it comes to Nigeria because I've been busy with other stuff going on personally. Um, so I'll just let you guys go with it. Elvis will get you started, and then I'll pass on to Wale to share his own update. Then he can get the job of today's show on the road.
All right, look, I've got two updates. Honestly, it saddens my heart that almost every night we come on set. The only things that readily come to mind or you come across are a good number. 99% of the times are a negative news coming from back home. Now, we don't want to appear like we're naysayers, but this is also the reality on ground and what's happening back home. Now, I saw in the news in the southeast, in Benue State to be specific, I think it was last week, gunmen, Fulani herdsmen went on rampage, went into a community, I can't remember exactly the name of that community, but in Benue State, and killed about 16 people. That's at the last count. Yeah, that's what. And some women who were reported to be returning from the marketplace as well. Nobody has seen them till date. The governor made a speech granted an interview, short one, and in this regard, and he was really saddened and disheartened. I know he mentioned, there was an incident between the local community members and the Fulani headsmen, and they thought it was resolved. And overnight, they all took their belongings and left, and then within a few days, they came back and, killed that number of people. The other one was the news coming from my own state of origin, where unknown gunmen went on rampage, went into the state prison service and attacked the prison with dynamites and guns and all of that, and freed about 1,800 inmates. Now, there's a worry within the communities where these inmates come from. Is there, of course, naturally, is there going to be an escalation of crime in those areas? What does the future portend for the citizenry in that area? Till date, there have been speculations of who might have been responsible, but we're not sure. We keep getting conflicting information about who's done what. But at the end of the day, it just highlights the fact that things are not going on, in the right direction back home. The government needs to step up, people and do the best they can to stem the tide of, these criminal events going on all over the country before really deteriorates into something that they cannot control.
Thank you. Just a quick update from me. A couple, on a sad note, last weekend I was passing of Comrade Yinka Odumakin. Yeah, so a prominent member of Afenifere, and who actually, dedicated significant. There's double. You are appearing double, Vicky. I'm not sure if you know.
Yeah.
Okay. So who did the dedicated significant of his life? I think at his passing it was 54. I stand to be corrected, but who dedicated significant part of his life for pro-democratic struggle in Nigeria. And obviously, after his death, a lot of messages, even from people that they really agreed on anything politically when he was alive. And that really caught my attention. And I remember reading a message from his widow, where she said she would have loved, Yinka to be alive just to read all the messages, pouring across the country. And what came to my mind, going through and reading all these comments online, was the words of Charles Franklin when he said, "No one gets out of life alive. So leave a footprint of your choice. You're writing your epitaph. You're writing it now. So we can say whatever you want to say after someone has passed away, but it doesn't really change anything other than the fact that what we do presently, and people that probably they disagree with him when he was alive, they never really had that opportunity to really, show that respect that, you know what, we might not really agree, but actually, we respect the fact that you had these strong opinions on this, but they never had that opportunity. So that was on one side. And another point of relevance, it has to do with the medical system in Nigeria and the hypocrisy around the fact that we had, when he was in opposition, an opposition leader, the current president was, constantly attacking the PDP government for not fixing the health system. Specifically, was talking about, he condemned medical tourism on the part of government of the day. But 6 years later, after President Buhari has been in power, he has become a perpetual medical tourist himself. So as we speak, is in UK. Two sides to the coin. People have argued he's entitled to medical care and all that. Fine, he's entitled to it. But the hypocrisy around it is that how many Nigerians can afford to just travel, to United Kingdom, for medical care and everything, especially when he was in opposition and he promised he was going to really revamp that sector. So for me, these are the two major reflections, since the last time we met. So moving on to tonight's show, we'll be discussing Nigerian diaspora and its fight for political relevance in Nigeria. And to get into that topic, I'm sure Vicky has got a video that she wants to play for us. Could we just, Vicky, play that video, and then we pick up the conversation from there?
All right.
Colleagues, Mark Tese Gbillah, representing Gwer East, Gwer West Federal Constituency of Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from the Mutual Union of the Thief in America against the federal government of Nigeria. And the issue has to do with the ancestral land of the Thief people that seem to have been possessed in recent times through various attacks, and the fact that they are languishing in IDP camps till date without any intervention. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, I want to lay this petition before this honorable House.
Did you say thieves in America?
The petition is from the Mutual Union of Thief People in America. Yes, there's a very
if they're in America, could they really be an interested party here? Do they really know what is exactly going on?
Okay, yes, they do, because they have their family members and there are people here with them, and they're, as a pressure group, bringing this petition because they believe that they are also stakeholders.
Mr. Gbillah, I don't want to make a blanket statement regarding those who are in diaspora. If this petition is coming from those who are within the country, I believe it has a very good standing.
No,
but these people living in America and then coming to lodge now.
No. There are Nigerians who are not all resident there. Some of them are just studying. Some of them just went there to do courses.
No, if you say they are Nigerians, they are Nigerians. But I don't know if you have a dual citizenship. If they have dual citizenship, and then they want to
don't have dual citizenship. They are all Nigerian citizens. That's why I said it's a union of an association, just like we have association of lawyers in other states who are from another.
Register with the Corporate Affairs of Nigeria.
Sorry?
Register with the Corporate Affairs of Nigeria.
Which one? The association I'm talking about?
Yes, all associations are registered with Corporate Affairs in Nigeria.
We can also begin to look at the fact that our Constitution, Section 40, does not stop any of us from freedom of association. Section 40 of the
I'm not saying that. I'm not stopping that, but I'm saying if they are Nigerians and living in Nigeria are bringing issues, I agree. But somebody in America who is far away in this country.
Mr. Speaker, this is not the first time we have presented petitions, even from those who are not resident.
That is why the Speaker has to allow the petition to be laid until he's convinced. I'm not convinced that somebody from America should come in here and then be laying issues in Nigeria. I'm not convinced.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, would you allow for the relevant committee to also look at it?
First, when you read the clause says with the permission of the Speaker, it means that the Speaker is convinced of the issues raised and the local standing of the person talking.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, you know we have a diaspora department, even as a country, that handles issues with Nigerians in the diaspora. And we do not tell them that they are not resident in Nigeria. Abike Dabri, a very right honorable member of this House, superintends over that, and we handle the issues of Nigerians as long as they're Nigerian citizens, even in diaspora. So these are still Nigerian citizens with Nigerian passports who are sending a petition.
Maybe Gbillah, I will refer you to the functions of the Committee on Diaspora. If you go through that one, it has nothing relevant to what you are now presenting.
No, I'm not even talking about the committee. I'm saying
no. You are referring me to so that I will understand. Yes, we agree. That even in the House here we have Diaspora Committee.
Your concern seems
that
to
is
be
for
that.
Excuse me. That is for them if they have issues for us to solve it for them. But out there, at their own comfort, I think they are not. They don't have this. The position.
So why do we bother about Nigerians in the diaspora then? Because why do we bother? Because we have a diaspora commission.
Please, I will not allow that petition. I will not allow that petition to take
Honorable Gbillah, be guided.
Please.
Honorable Gbillah, be guided.
I'm not convinced that we need to take that petition. Thank you.
Whip.
Honorable Gbillah, be guided.
About what, Whip, sir?
Thank you. Take your seat, please. Professor.
While your lights on.
Wow. Thank you very much. So that was the exchange between Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase, the Deputy Speaker of Nigerian House of Representatives, and Honorable Gbillah, representing from Benue State. I'm sure we've heard that without having to repeat that exchange between the two honorable members. I will go to Vicky. My first question will go to Vicky. In light of that conversation that we've just listened to, should Nigerians in diaspora have a say in the affairs of their communities, or they are only valued as stable source of remittance to economic development? Because listening to that conversation, it appeared that the Deputy Speaker strongly believe that the Nigerians in diaspora, have no say whatsoever in the affairs of what is going on in Nigeria. What's your take on that, Vicky?
It's quite sad, I mean, listening to that just makes me a little bit, it makes my blood to boil a little bit. And it's like, it makes me feel like an American, a Black American, living in America, having no say, I mean, not feeling free, and they have nowhere else to go back to. Maybe that's not the best way to describe it, but we are Nigerians first before anything else. We are Nigerians. We speak the language. We were born there. We were raised there. How dare this man say, because we've left, now we have no say? How dare he? And this is something that should make all of us in the diaspora, to get up and say, enough is enough. And talking about this, there was a picture that I showed before that I just wanted to show again and again because it says a lot. And I was looking at that picture, and maybe I'll put it on right now and you guys can have a look, and or the audience also. And that says a lot. If I count the people on that picture, I don't think they're up to 20. But we at the moment, we're more than 210 million. And these people are pushing us and do whatever they can, because the 220 or 210 million of us, we are not saying anything. So they just kept doing what they want, however they want. Look at this. Wasted generation. Ordinary electricity they cannot fix in 60 years. How many people are there? How many? We're talking about 6, 8. So 16 of them. 16. And we have some of them that have done it twice, 3 times, and we are still in this situation, even worse than 20, 30 years ago. Now, we're talking about those in the diaspora. Are we going to continue to just watch? Because it's just gonna get worse. We're out here, we are raising money. We have people that are over there asking for money, and the money that we send, the $1 billion that we send every year, keep the economy going. And we're still not, we're not recognized. Where we are, we're not fully recognized, because it's not like any of us is going in there to become the governor, the president, or the prime minister, right? So in Nigeria, we have no say because we live overseas, and out here we really don't have much to say. So it's something that we all need to be angry, I mean, like really angry about, and scream and shout it out. This cannot continue. To me, it is not right.
Thank you for Vicky, and also you see the hypocrisy. On one hand, they are happy for the government is really happy for the remittances, to the extent that even now, to send money through World Remit and all that, you can't even send money directly to people's account in naira. It has to be in dollars. It has to be in dollars, to even the extent that the government will even pay them extra naira for every dollar that they pick up. Anyway, I'll move on to Elvis now. My next question is: in advanced democracies, permit their citizens who live abroad to partake in elections by enrolling and voting as overseas voters. However, Nigerians living abroad cannot enroll and vote as overseas voters in Nigerian elections. What purpose do APC, PDP in UK and US serve, given they are disenfranchised?
Well, yeah, look, I'll take that question, but I feel like I should say a few words as well in relation to the previous question.
The first question, please go ahead.
Yeah. Look, it's really disheartening to hear the someone in the capacity of the deputy speaker of the nation speak in that manner and in that tone. I mean, we're talking about people's ancestral lands. Is that not what the petition was about? Their rights. They are like your father's land, my father's land has been bequeathed to me, or my father is still alive, and this is my family property we're talking about, or their family property. In quotes. I mean, it's honestly very low for the deputy speaker to make those sort of comment. I find it quite derogatory for him to use words like what local standing do they have? Come on. Well, do they have dual citizenship? Regardless, Nigeria is a country that allows dual citizenship. Even if they had one, doesn't make it illegal for them to want to, have a say on something that, rightfully belongs to them. They don't have to be registered with the corporate affairs to air their views. Even the international community can have a say in the affairs of Nigeria. How much more people who were actually giving back to in Nigeria? If the US, the UK, or the international organizations will have a say in what goes on in Nigeria, how then does someone who is a Nigerian from but not have a say in what happens within their country? And now we're talking not only their country, their ancestral lands. It's funny how he even says, they are making these complaints in their comfort. It gives me the feeling the deputy speaker would rather prefer the diasporans to be in discomfort. So it's quite wrong. It's which word would I don't want to go as low as he's gone, but for him, somebody in his capacity to shut down a rep, in that manner, who was speaking about the voice of his people, that's really questionable. I mean, if people can't speak through their reps, then through whom would they speak? Anyway, that's now. Wale, you and Vicky just mentioned it. The essence of having those political parties in the US and the UK serve no purpose. The only purpose they serve is, like they are cash cows. How do you belong to a party where, you ideally cannot vote like other advanced democracies who allow the people to vote by proxy, irrespective of where you're located? As long as you are identified as a citizen of that country, you're entitled to one vote, and you can cast your vote from wherever in the globe that you're located. Nothing negates you, nothing stops you from being able to cast your vote. So, we're good for sending the money home. That's what this deputy speaker is telling us here. Yes, your money is good, but your say is rubbish. We can't, you don't have an opinion. Your money is good, yeah, but you can't vote. So the essence of it all is it's just for fundraising activities, nothing more. What other purpose does it serve? APC UK, APC US, PDP, Australia, wherever, it's just for the purpose of raising funds, nothing more. So well and truly you're disenfranchised, so you can't vote. It makes no sense other than the fact that these politicians will solicit for funds from through those parties. There's nothing more. You're good for nothing else. It's just for the sole purpose of raising funds. That's it. QED, nothing more, Wally.
Yeah, thanks, Elvis. And to a large extent, they've been able to sustain this level of argument because many of our people in diaspora as well, in a way, we've allowed ourselves to be used for, for those mentioned purposes. We've allowed ourselves to be used as cash cow, donating money, and we've also allowed ourselves to be used, and in a way that uh, people have been promised, either political appointments or whatever, or some elective position. And because of that, you see people, as Honorable Deputy Speaker put it, sitting in the comfort of their homes. You see that as well. Some of our people sitting in the comfort of their homes in Canada, over the US, whatever, and they're defending some of these outrageous policies, of government. And I'm not talking about this current government. You can look back as far back as the return to democratic rule. You can see people in diaspora that they argue, and you ask yourself, like, honestly, if this is how they run government in Australia or in Canada or UK or US, will you even consider migrating to any of those countries? But you see that a lot. You see people that are now comfortable, and in their minds, in their twisted mind, I'm sorry, they can't defend anything. Something that even, our kids there would say, well, this is not real. You can see them defending that. So, and there's a lot of criticism of some of us in diaspora that, for whatever, that we still maintain that level of, having rational argument and rational debate. And that will lead me to the next question that we go to Vicky. And the question is specifically around some Nigerians have criticized Nigerians living in diaspora for being arrogant and detached from day-to-day realities of Nigeria when discussing problems facing our people at home. Is Nigerian diaspora exaggerating its relevance in areas of political and economic development of the country? One, are we so detached from the reality of what is happening at home? Do we really exaggerate, our social, economic, and political contributions to the growth of Nigeria? Because we've been accused of being arrogant and being far from home. People have told me on Facebook when I write stuff, well, while you're far away in Australia, just writing rubbish from the comfort zones of your room. So what do you think, Vicky?
What I think is that ole lo mo ese ole to lori apata. That's how Yoruba says it, right? Ole lo mo ese ole to lori apata. That is, thief always know, how the other thieves do make their plans and strategize and how they work. So they know who the thieves are. So we are Nigerians raised in Nigeria. We understand the language. We understand the unspoken, languages. So when we talk about the political life over there, we were raised there, so actually we know. Now we've moved. We now live in another place, and we can see how it's done. Really, I believe when we talk about democracy, we adopted democracy in Nigeria and other African countries without really understanding what democracy is really. We pick what pays the leaders. The leaders actually pick what pays them when it comes to democracy. So they're not practicing democracy as it's supposed to be practiced. Now we are in another environment, we live under other political climate, and we can see how they do it and how it's working for common people in the community. So when we go back with this idea that yes, we've done this for so many years and it hasn't worked for us. I've lived in US, I've lived in Canada, I've lived in South Africa, I've lived in Australia, and I can see that things are working better. There are people that are making sure it works the way it's supposed to work. Now, I will go back with the mindset that you guys, you've been doing the same thing again and again, doing it again and again the same way. No wonder nothing is changing. And according to Albert Einstein, that said that it's insanity when you keep doing the same thing and you keep doing it the same way and you're expecting different results. It's insanity. You are insane. Are we insane in Nigeria? Are we all insane? Because the same thing is what we've been doing again and again, which is why we will have 16 people that led us since the time we got our freedom. Is it called freedom from United Kingdom, from Britain? We had all these people that did the job, and electricity is just one of the things that we're still struggling with, and so many things on top of it, and we're still doing it the same way. The same way. Are we all insane? 210 million people. Are we insane? It's insanity. What we've been doing, it's basically that. Now, when with the question that you asked me, I don't even know where to go with it. Honestly, it is honestly, Wale, I don't know where to go with it, because the more I think about it, the more I just feel, something needs to be done. We need to do something about this.
I'll move on. I could say, and it's really it's difficult not to become emotional. When you talk about Nigeria, when you talk about all the potentials that we've been talking since we were kids about, the potential to be great, the potential to be top rank among Committee of Nations. So it's difficult not to really get emotional, because some people will even argue that people become so emotional when they discuss Nigeria. And I've said to people, it's not even human not to become emotional when you talk about a lot of things about that country and how we've really wasted so many opportunities, so many opportunities. But we continue to talk, and that image that you showed about people that have ruled, in fact, going through the list, I think about 7 of them, they've already passed away. So in terms of even that 16, maybe we only have about 11 of them that are currently, about 9 of them that are currently alive. And again, these people, they still contribute in terms of, where we are today. They will still determine who becomes, the next president in 2023. Moving on, we move to Elvis. And, Elvis has lived in UK, and I know in UK and the US, there's this NIDO, the Nigerian Diaspora organization. I don't really think they have.
I think they have it here. They have it here.
We have it here. We have it in New Zealand.
Okay. Maybe I've not been paying attention. I know that online I've seen a lot of their activities, especially in Western Europe, obviously in North America, Canada, and US. But forgive my ignorance. I'm not really aware of their presence in Oceania or in this part of where we are. But so my next question is around the activities, and I will read that according to the information on the NIDO website, it was formed in 2000 to 2001 thereabout. And I'm reading from their UK chapter with a vision to harness the tremendous skill, exposure, expertise, and knowledge base of Nigerians resident outside Nigeria, with a view to using this as a resource base to promote socio-economic and infrastructural development back in Nigeria. Considering the current situations in Nigeria, is NIDO, or NIDO, achieving its objectives? I've not really had much to do with them, and I'll be the first person to say that. But from your experience, if you've had anything to do with them previously, either in Canada, either in UK or in Australia, do you think that organization has been able to live up to expectation? What I've seen is that a group that constantly lobbies with whoever is in government, that's what I've seen, just following some of the activities, and everyone try to get a bit of the crumbs. That is what I've observed. But I want to be educated in case I'm missing something. So Elvis, I want to be lectured on this.
Well, look, the answer to that question is yes and no.
Okay.
Nido, in my view, in my perspective, has not lived up to the essence or the reason for actually setting up that organization. Now, on one front, he talks about harnessing the skills and expertise of Nigerians in diaspora. Whether any progress has been made in that regard, I'd say no. I would say no. To be honest, I can't see anything to speak for that. But in terms of infrastructural development, maybe not on that very large scale. Sending those remittances home, or business opportunities that people can individually engage in. Well, yeah, maybe in that area. But in terms of harnessing our skills and our expertise, I don't think so. We have no, honestly, or the system does not provide us the opportunity to have a say. Now, even in terms of our expertise and our skills and our experiences, the situation we have on ground will not even permit us to bring our skills and our expertise to bear. I'll give you examples. Now, we have, the likes of Dr. Mifolaji. We have so many of them here in Melbourne who, for what they know, can't really put their experience or bring their experience to actually make the system function well. So even when you have those skills, the system you have on ground does not permit you to showcase your skills. While Vicky, as well, I'm in the property industry. I'm a valuer here, and I compare the system. I just look at what goes on, the way we value real estate here, the way we value properties. Everything is data related. Everything is on the system. If you're looking for sales evidence, you can find them on different databases. Sales are recorded every day. You can get historical data of a property that sold even 20 years ago, and you can do your analysis based on that information. And then, ask how does someone like me even practice in Nigeria? With the skills, with the knowledge that I've acquired in this part of the world. If I decide, okay, come on, let's pack our bags, let's go home to Nigeria, let's go and do what I know how to do here. There's probably not an opportunity for me to do that, because the system will not support those skills, that knowledge, that experience that I have. So in reality, Wale, no, he hasn't lived up to his dreams. If anything, it's only good for us, like everything else we've discussed tonight. Only good for us to, send those dollars on. We are the cash cow, and we also provide that social security for, how much money you send home, how many phone calls you get every day. It's either a family member or a friend here and there. So, yeah, in that area, yes, we're good for that, and we're good for, sending money back home to invest in some areas. But in reality, it hasn't really achieved its purpose.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And look, I know that you've touched on, doctors, engineers, and the same old story that people have skills, knowledge that they've acquired over the years. But, the framework, doesn't support anything, doesn't support the knowledge, and there are even cases where people have, made attempts to really even organize some capacity building. I've attempted in the past in my area of, corrections and criminal justice and crime prevention and all that. That I've really developed. I've taken my time to develop some, just some basic training proposals, during one of my last visits. And the whole idea was just to gather some relevant, men and women within that, field. Just a kind of brainstorming kind of session about best practices in this part of the world, and just to share knowledge. No one is going there to be like you, going there to really teach them anything new, but just to interact with them, and hopefully through that interaction we'll be able to learn one or two things from, as professionals. But at a stage it was more like, what is in even there for us, Mr. Wale from Australia, So I wasn't asking. Hey, Gwer. The marathon man. Good to see you. Surprise, surprise. Good to see you, God.
Thank you so much.
Can you give me a glass of water? I think you need one.
I ran the marathon to join you guys.
What are you?
You came in at the right time, Egbo. Yeah, so I was just saying, the question was, what is even there for us? And all I was just doing was just to, do a kind of experience sharing with some of my colleagues. And at the end of the day, it was like, well, Australia, what are you bringing for us? And I just had to abandon it and just spend my quiet holiday in Lagos without doing anything. So we're talking about, Egbon, thanks for joining us. We thought you won't be able to make it with us. We're talking about Nigerian diaspora and its fight for political relevance in Nigeria. So we've been discussing that now for, in the last, going to an hour now. So it's good that you got you in the house, and we, put the next question to you. A Nigerian currently heads WTO. Another Nigeria is serving a second term as the president of ADB, Africa Development Bank. Why is Nigeria languishing in poor governance when some of its best technocrats are leading global organizations? Egbon.
What a way to what a point to come in. It's a tough one for me. It's a tough one, because when I sit back and I look at examples of you people out there doing wonderful things, some went there as a result of just normal pursuit of greener pasture. Some who are forced there as a result of inadequacies here, and maybe even some that ran for their life. And when you put all this together, and you find out that they're doing so much. Of course, we have, we can't rule out the never-do-wells who are out there as well. Those who are probably tarnishing the image of the country as well. But the truth is, the good ones outnumber the bad ones, and in a very, very huge fraction as well. So the question now is, what exactly is wrong with us? I do not want to think it's a curse. Frankly, I do not want to think it's a curse. Because we keep repeating the same error over and over again. We keep insisting on having misfits, and we keep insisting on ignoring people who are obviously out to do good for the society. We ignore them. At times we eat them up. We chase them off. I've seen so many positive-minded people coming out from outside the country, from abroad, out of sheer patriotism, who want to come in and contribute things to, at their own quota to the development of this country. But when you listen to certain tales, some could be very scary. Some could be very scary. There are people who have abandoned their comfort out there, who have put together all their resources and they bring it here. And you find a situation where people just want to milk them dry, not caring what they have to offer. And you now ask yourself, are we okay? It is one question why I keep asking that thing, my refrain. I'm not sure. At times, I seriously, I'm not sure. But even in this, I am not alone in this feeling that things could be a lot better. There are a lot of people here who are bothered. There are a lot of people who are screaming. There are a lot of people who are taking positive steps towards this. It's just that most times they are outnumbered. Now, it also scares me when I remember something that the late Majek Fashek told me in London. It scares me, and I keep asking myself, I hope it is not true. I hope it's not right. And he was making a reference to the fact that we needed to appease the spirit of Awolowo. He was that specific. He said that we needed to appease the spirit of Awolowo. He said it, whether this is fantasy, whether it is whatever. Majek Fashek, and I'm quoting him, God bless his soul wherever he is. He said this specifically, that we have, and he wasn't actually just talking about Awolowo as a person. There are too many people that we have wronged in this country. We have shed so much blood, innocent blood, in this country, and we are still doing that. It scares me when I remember this, when I think about it, because I take Awolowo for instance. I'm not sure we will be where we are today if we did not mess up with that election, which he obviously won. Because if that man had taken the mantle of leadership at the time he wanted to, we probably would have found a direction. There are many more like him here now that we are stopping from emerging. And that's why I keep saying the point that the present electoral system that we operate, whereby candidates emerge through party primaries, will never, and I want to be quoted, don't let me use the will never, but I will say may never throw up the right candidate for the leadership of this country. It is at that point that they are emasculated. It's at that point that they are screened off. It's at that point that if you do not have a big man that can help you emerge, that is where it ends. That is where all your resources end. That is where all your aspirations end. But don't let me take too much of your time. We are not getting it right. We're not getting it right.
Thanks, Egban. That's why.
Just take a look around. Just take a look around. Check the profile. Check the profile of our so-called leaders. There are some good ones there, and I mean very good ones with good intentions. But they are few. They are too few to turn things around here. Thanks.
Well, yeah, thank you very much, Egban. It's good to have you back on the program. And I do follow religiously your Igegbanubai that you put on Facebook. To me, some are quite comical, like the one I saw. Just the I'm not. I think it was somewhere in Warri, or that's part of the country. The NEPA guy, I don't know what it's called again, that was on top of the electric poles, and we had this, a local, miscreants climbing up the ladder, on an electric cable to bring him down. I saw the craziness of the whole thing in terms of, and I saw the comical side. It was just one of those pathetic and very funny situations. But there's a code there that I want to we want Vicky to expand on this, and I'm quoting Egbon from his last contribution. He said, as a country, we insist on having misfits, that we look around us and we have people that are good with good intentions, and I share that sentiment that there are good people out there. But why are we, just quoting, paraphrasing what Egbon said, why are we, I'm putting this to Vicky, and Elvis can also add his own point to that. Why are we as a nation, insist on having misfits as our leaders? And you can just see the trend. Even 2023 is far away. You don't want to drop names. You don't want to really start to, judge anyone. But you can see us gradually moving in that direction, just 2 years away from the next major election that could turn things around, or, make the whole country break. You can see us taking steps towards that gradually, of having the same people recycling themselves. Why are we like that as a people? I'll start with you, Vicky.
Egbon mentioned something when he was talking, that, was it Egbon or Elvis? That, are we cursed really? Are we cursed? And sometimes when I go to Nigeria and I spend a week, the eat, hey, my goodness. And the last time I was there, which was in 2018, I made a comment on my page that if anyone that lives in Nigeria, the way Nigeria is, goes to hellfire, that is double jeopardy. That is double jeopardy now. How can you live in this country? No matter what, you might have money. I mean, there are billionaires there, but you still travel on the same road. You still see the same. You can have a mansion here and have shed there, and have, the dirty stuff all around you. All that kind of stuff I look at and I'm like, oh my goodness, you can't live in this country and go to hellfire, because it's sorry, Egbon, but that was just the way I felt then. And I'm talking about the heat now, how hot it gets. That, is there anything with that sun that just fries people's brain? That is a question I've been asking. That, how can we have all these people that we can count doing what they are doing, and 210 million people cannot fight back and say enough is enough? What is going on with us? What is going on with our brains? Why can't we fight back? That's the question I've been asking. Now, Wale, you asked this question, and it's something that I've been pondering on myself again and again. That, and something came to mind this afternoon, actually. My father wrote his thesis for Unilag, I believe, on, he wrote this, I can't remember the title. I managed to read the first chapter, and that says a lot about the way we are. He was an historian who will go into communities and gather stories and write them, from old people then. And I read those things and I thought, oh my God, some of the things, by saying this, it might sound as if I'm giving excuses as far why we are the way we are. It might sound like that, but that is not it. It was just my own observation that if people have done this years ago, you know, they've attacked, I mean, and I'll take you back into the Bible. I'm kind of rambling now, but I'll take you back into the Bible. Remember Cain and Abel? When Cain killed Abel because he had all this harvest, things that really looked better than his was, and he killed Abel. Remember the curse that went onto this guy's head, and other curse, you know, did what it did. And I believe some of those things that were done by our forefathers and the curses that they cursed on one another then, probably, I'm not sure if it sounds to you more like excuses, but I read that and I'm like, oh my goodness. This, and I couldn't even bear to keep reading because it's as big as the book. So why are we like this? Things may have been like the way they were, but why are we still, after so many years? And I made mention of something before, which was what Albert Einstein said centuries ago, that is insanity when we keep doing the same thing the same way and we're expecting different results. We keep making misfits to rule us one way or the other, because some people, you know, were paid off, because some people just wanted immediate gratification, that they are not ready to look at the future. I mean, the future of their children, the future of, you know, of the country. They don't care. So why do we keep having misfits there? I believe that as group of people and with our numbers, we could ask for better. But there's something definitely wrong with us. But what is it? I really can't place it.
And that's why and that's why we are on Nigeria We Want, trying to, as much as possible, to analyze some of these problems. We don't pretend to have the answers, but we believe that by talking about it, by putting it out there, probably people that are more smarter than us, that they know better than us, probably they will listen and be able to act on some of the things that we're saying. And you look around us, and we've had a country like Rwanda that went through genocide, and that same country is becoming an economic hub in Africa. And you see, once most of these countries are transformed, you see our leaders gravitating towards those countries, for businesses, for tourism, for whatever. They did that in our lifetime. You know, the Arabian deserts, Dubai, you know, turned to a global city. And you see our people gravitating toward this same place, you know, going there on holidays and spending thousands of dollars on their big shops and buying properties. And you think about it, and you're doing quite the opposite in your own country. Like you just can't, like, you don't want to be superstitious, but sometimes you would think that there must be something that is more than just natural happening here. Elvis, I know that you've got something to say on this. What have you got to say on this?
Of course, Wale, you know, this particular issue we're discussing, excuse me, is hydra-headed. Wale, is, you know, it's multifaceted. It's not just you know, a problem you can look at from one angle. I know you mentioned the instance of Rwanda, yeah. So you know, once you mentioned Rwanda, my something came into my thoughts as well. So the West also have a role to play in what's happening back home. And I say this because when you mentioned Rwanda, I just quickly thought, now, when what happened in Rwanda was my analysis, or the way I see it was, when they fought their wars and they had that genocide, the world turned their backs on Rwanda because there was no diamond and there was no oil to be taken from Rwanda. So it was a case of let them go and let them kill themselves, it's their business. But when they fix their issues and they're now bouncing back, there's no West, there's no interest to check what they are doing. To look at the end of the day, look, when you look at the Bretton Woods institutions, you're in a situation where you're going to take a loan from IMF or the World Bank. They want to know where you want to put that money in. I'm sorry to say, Wale, sometimes they make you put that money in areas that will not engender economic or growth in within your economy. That's a factor. You talk about the US going to obtain a loan at the rate of 1%, and then an African nation is going for the same loan, and their rate is 8 to 10%. Now, where is the justice? How fair is that? Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. Just note it down somewhere. It's probably a topic we can look at some stage in the future. Now, can I plead with you to cut our people some slack? I'm asking you nicely too, because I've said this so many. We're looking at the cause and effect scenario. You don't push someone to the wall and you expect them to keep moving. Now, unfortunately, we're not like Myanmar. You can see what's happening in Myanmar right now. The military junta have, staked their coup. They've overthrown a democratically elected government, but people have stood their ground and said, look, this is not going to happen. They've killed so far at Lance, they've killed up to 400 to 600 people. Out of those, about 40 infants have been killed in the whole of this process. But the people keep protesting and asking for the democratically elected government to come back to power. They don't want nothing to do with the military. Now, liking that to our country, Fala sang the song. Can you remind me the one he sang about nobody wants to die? I know one die. Mama did for house, something like that.
Yep.
Of our suffer for what? So we keep suffering and we keep smiling. And unfortunately, we're not like Myanmar. We haven't got the sort of mindset they have. We haven't got the courage that they have to fight this evil. Maybe perhaps something like that would have played out in Nigeria during the end-SARS protests, but the powers that they saw where it was going. Nigerians, I'm sure, I can beat my chest and say, look, we're ready to take the bull by the horn and to fight this evil, but they quickly did something, and they shot people and they nipped it in the bud. People became scared. Of course, everyone went back home. Now, when you say, that we're picking wrong people, in truth and in reality, are all of these people actually being elected? Now, think about the process of even getting to the point where you become a candidate. You start at the party level. I know someone who went through this process, and I was told in confidence how much they spent to get to where they were. Hundreds of millions. So it's not just our people. It's not just before that candidate is presented to the people. Remember, the party would have gone through its own process as well. They have a number of candidates, and then they do their primaries within the party. And it's the case of whoever has the biggest box probably will get the ticket, and that's who's presented to the people. And then what choice do the people have? And even when you come to the election proper, see what happened in Edo State. Thugs, military men, policemen were sent in to. Do we really have free and fair elections in Nigeria? Do the people actually determine who rules them? Is it really in their hands? I mean, let's face reality. I mean, I say this and I say it, and I won't get tired of saying it, that when someone, our people have been pauperized to the extent that, you know, the number 6 is no longer there. The the people in positions of authority they actually use, in my opinion, use poverty as a tool.
As a tool.
We are people into line to make them do what ordinarily they wouldn't have done. Do you know what hunger does to a man? It's an angry man. A hungry man is an angry man. Not be joke. You know. So sometimes it's not really. I'm like Vicky. I'm not making excuses for our people, but when you find yourselves in a situation where you actually helpless, it becomes difficult. You're not calling the shots. You're not dictating. You take what's offered to you. I recall two candidates. I'm not going to mention names. Sometime we had an election in Nigeria, and the people, the general outlook or the perception out there was, between these two devils, which one is the lesser evil of the two? Who are we going to pick? So, you know, the candidates we have are just, you know, they are lumped on us. The people don't actually, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, don't actually have a say in who, takes on the responsibility of actually leading them. You know, they give you a candidate and you don't really have much choice. So for people like us who are here, even for you, you can do something really great for the country. And we've talked, you know, we're on this program, we talk on set all the time. I can visualize the sort of mindset you have. Let's face the fact. You know, if you decided you wanted to assume that sort of position, you know the battle you will fight, my brother. To even get there, to even get, you know, the ticket of that party. Now, do we have independent candidacy in Nigeria? Even if you have that, you know, you're your own. You're not going to get anywhere. You know, so it's really difficult. It's not so much about our people. Is, you know, we're sort of in a quagmire, and it's going to take a really huge effort to extricate our people from this sort of situation that we found ourselves in. Power is not given; it's taken. And yeah, are we really ready to take it? Do we have the balls to say, you know? My wife will always say, let some people go and face it. And whoever's going to die, let them die. The ones that remain will live. Now, when she send me her husband to the front line, she's not going to do that.
Thanks, Elvis, and I will give Egbon to respond to Elvis.
Egbon, you're mute.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me take it from where Elvis stopped. Power is taken, not given. People were hungry and angry during June 12. And they needed no prompting to get there and do certain things, to make their voices heard. Recently, people were angry and, of course, hungry. And they needed little or no prompting to make their voices heard during NSAS. It is very true. Who wants to take the bullet, kind of? It is very true. But unfortunately, we are where we are because of what we are. It will shock you. I've been to polling stations during elections. Elvis is right on the fact that, yes, poverty has been used as a tool. And it is still being used as a tool. Elvis is right in saying that you really have free and fair elections here. But in most cases, elections are rigged where you have candidates that are not popular. Most times. When you listen to conversations at polling stations at times, it will sadden you. Seriously. It will sadden you. You just wait and you just ask yourself, when exactly are we going to get out of this situation? When exactly are we going to get out of this situation? However, when you look around, it's very easy for you to lose your sanity in this country. It's very easy. I'll tell you, the post of a deputy speaker is not a run-of-the-mill post within our political setting. Within our official setting, deputy speaker of the House of Rep, to be specific. The night, excuse me, I had what he uttered, what that man uttered. Actually, I watched it while I was having dinner. That was where my dinner ended. That night, I personally almost lost my sanity because I just realized that, wait a minute, I'm having dinner in a jungle. You cannot utter such, in civilized situations, you cannot utter such things and still and be free. Nothing has happened to that guy till today, and nothing will. Because how would you make such a pronouncement about the best of your brains out there? Some of the best of your brains out there. Some of the most productive forces that you can display to the world, or you can use, or you can refer to. And he has said it, outcries here and there, and that has been it. I'm not very sure if Gbajabiamila would have said what he said. I'm not very sure. But he is the deputy speaker of the House of Representatives. Hydra-headed, I agree with Elvis. Yes, it's a multifarious thing that is happening in terms of what has contributed to this. Let me quickly take Vicky's from Vicky as well. Vicky, the sun here has nothing to do with what is wrong with us. I'm not too sure it is hotter than Ghana. I'm not too sure it is hotter than Rwanda. The fact is, if our forefathers did what they did, when they did it only knowing what they knew. And we have the ample opportunity of taking that turn. We've been at that turn several times. We have refused to take it. That is why I will probably not completely agree with Elvis about giving slack to people. I am aware of the fact that poverty is a tool. But when you get hungry up to a point, even as a maid or as a slave, you say no. 1,001 ways of doing it. It doesn't have to be violent, Elvis. The essence of what we are doing really is to enlighten ourselves. This program is not about putting arms in the hands of people. It's about opening our eyes. And we must just say it the way it is, hoping that more and more people will buy into it. I also agree that, listen, the foreign factor in this is very high. A number of countries, a lot of countries out there have contributed and are still contributing to what is wrong with us. Listen, I just read a report a couple of days back. $400 million of illicit funds and assets are locked up in the United Arab Emirates. Our money, our assets. And out of this, I'll tell you this, because let's talk statistics here now. Listen, law enforcement officials own 216 of this, while public officials have own 584, if we put them into figures. Our assets are locked up in Britain by people who steal from here, and they ship it out there. Yes, we thank UK for returning some of these things, but there are still a lot more out there. Our assets are there in America,
Swiss bank,
and they're there. So these factors are also there. I mean, when people have safe havens in such places, they will continue to do what they are doing. You need to see how they panic when there are visa restrictions on them and their families here. It's like sucking life out of them, because they cannot go out there to do their jamboree, because their children would suffer because of lack of funds out there. It happens. But at the same time, we will continue to talk. We cannot carry arms. We cannot shoot. But we will continue to talk. And this exercise we are doing is going to be a big factor in changing this country by His grace.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much on that prayerful and philosophical way. I'll quickly go around, the panelists, just to get our final word for tonight, and then I will hand up to Vicky to close tonight's show. So what I intend to do, I go to Elvis, get back to Egmonyemi, and then give the baton back to Vicky. Elvis, your final word for tonight, my brother.
Well, enough said already. And look, I totally understand where you're coming from. When we say, people should, we keep talking, and then people also need to do their parts. But I'll just say, look, it's at what point is all this gonna stop? And even those who are perpetrating these injustices, I mean, how does someone take monies they don't really need, and in relation to whether the foreign countries are also involved in perpetrating this war. Yes. How does you mentioned a very large amounts of monies here? How does that money get into a country where you say you have anti-money laundering laws? I can take out $10,000 in my pocket from here in or out of Australia without declaring it. I'll be in trouble. But yet someone will transfer hundreds of millions and with no question asked. Anyway, let's keep talking. We're not bickering. And like we always say, hopefully somebody will listen someday. And then those who are back home and in these situations that we just described are people. No one, don't give up. Keep doing whatever you can to see, and whether somebody somewhere will listen to somewhere someday and decide to do the right thing. Like Wayne said, we can't pick up arms. We nearly got to that point where we could have done something positively without a fight or without anything. But it was as if some people took advantage of it, sponsored Woodlock to go and start perpetrating all sorts of all manners of evil, and then that genuine protest was tagged in violent protest. But that's not to say that's the end of the road. As Charlie Boy would succinctly put it, our Momo don't do. My people, wake up.
Thank you, Elvis. Egmont Yemi, your final word for today's show.
Yes, Elvis keeps giving me the line to kick off from. Seriously, really, I'm don't do, and we need to decide exactly what's the kind of Nigeria we want. We need to decide. It scares me, even with all this that we are saying. It scares me when I see the way people are moving out of the country. It scares me the way some of our best brains are moving out of the country. And I look around, we are dealing with doctors' strike nationwide. And the head of the family decides to take off and treat himself out there. I still can't put it together. Seriously, I still can't put it together. I went visiting a patient in a private hospital who was forced to go into a private hospital just about a few days ago. And I asked myself, how did we get to this point? I look around and I see that our children who have been at home for probably more than a year now or so are all of a sudden summoned back to school to start exams. Are we okay? That is the thing. I have one. I'm not referring to something that is distant. I have one under my roof. They've been home forever. And we were told, oh, schools are reopened, and we felt, okay, it's a bit of a relief, only to be told that they are starting exams. You call them back in on Friday and say they are starting exams on Monday. But that is the thing. Ask somebody, ask anybody around here.
That's wickedness. And
the thing is, it's normal. So why won't I keep asking, are we okay? So we need to decide. But keeping quiet will be disastrous. That's why we need to keep talking about this thing. Maybe it will make a couple of people have a change of heart. Those are the aim of affairs. Maybe. But if they refuse to, sooner or later, maybe somebody should Google the word Waterloo. Whatever it pops up, whatever pops up there might just be their beats. But as for Nigerians, we need to decide. We need to decide what kind of Nigeria, the Nigeria we want. I also ask myself, if you have the opportunity, I ask myself this constant question. If you have the opportunity, are you going to mess up like these other people? Because it's easy to talk about some of these things, and then in the practical sense of it, are you? What I say is, my answer is no, but my word cannot be taken for it. So the way to go about it is to get more and more positive-minded people into positions of authority, and let us outnumber the misfits. 2023 is around the corner. We have started the Macabre dance already. God help us. Finally, finally, I'm appealing to religious leaders to do the needful. What they are contributing to what we are going through is a lot. They need to do the needful. They need to do the needful. They are fueling the mumuism of followership. But I won't talk more than that for now. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Gwer Yemi. And on that note, I will hand over to Vicky to wrap up tonight's show. Thank you, and to our viewers, wherever you're watching us from, thanks for your company tonight. Over to you, Vicky.
Thank you, Wale. To just round this up, I believe that words are quite powerful, and we know that God used words to create this hurt, to create, he said, let there be light, and there was light. Okay, so words are quite powerful, and everything that we share here on this show, we've been using our voices, we've been using our words, and we will never know where our shows will be played, who will be listening, and who will, learn from it, and maybe a Jerry Rawlings will get out from watching or listening to our show. Maybe the guy in Rwanda who is now their president and is doing really well, someone like that in Nigeria will watch our show and say, these guys are saying something here. What is, okay, let's do something. And on that note, I want us to just see that something is going to happen. We are doing this, and we're doing this because we are using it as a time to deliberate. You know, there's a part in the Bible that says, "Come, let us reason together." So we've been reasoning together, and we're doing it to. I mean, even Wale doesn't do all the stuff that you used to write because you have a venue to just let it out, and not just let it out. You're doing it in, with other people of same mindset. It's not like anyone will be attacking you and be telling you go and sit down and stuff like that. You're doing it in a safe way and you're letting it out. I mean, this is our first time back after 2 weeks break, and that 2 weeks felt like a month or 2 months, because this is our time to just, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about it? Just talk about it, and then, okay, I've had my fix for this week. We'll catch up again next week. So we're rounding up on the positive note. We don't know, somebody somewhere watching or listening, or maybe watching this later, maybe Jerry Rawlings, maybe because all those people in Ghana and Rwanda, we've had their stories. We know what they've been through, and when things change around, somebody had to get up and say enough is enough. And I think that was what made Sunday Igboho to be very popular now, because people are waiting for someone like Jerry Rawlings. Nigerians are waiting for someone who will be so bold and lead them. We do need leaders like that. I mean, someone like Moses that got up and listened to God and helped the Israelites to get off from Egypt. We are looking, we are waiting, Nigerians are waiting for someone like that. And we pray that not so long ago, the person will get up and do what God has destined him or her to do. So on that note, we are rounding up. And as usual, I want to appreciate all the panelists. Egboyemi, thank you. Despite your busy weekend, you still make it to join us and deliberate with us. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Elvis Nwachukwu Mkpokwenu.
Yeah.
I thank you again and again. And my brother, Mr. Wale Olaiton, thank you for moderating today's show.
Just before we run off, Vicky, two things. Sorry about your inability to attend Papa's funeral. I'm sorry, really sorry about that. I felt the pain. That's one. Two, thank you for this therapy session, because that is what it is for me.
Thank you.
On the first one, you are forgiven. Just send us a check. You are forgiven.
Exactly.
No problem. No problem. We do the conversion.
And well, maybe we will FaceTime you. I'm not sure if it's going to be early morning for you, but we are catching up on the 17th.
Now, wait a minute, right there. This idea of tagging me, and I'm watching you people eat amala. Please.
Hey, but let's solve the problem. Let's solve the problem. Can I bring a solution here? Eh?
Can you what?
Can I profile a solution?
Mm-hmm.
Please do.
So which part of Lagos are you in?
Ogudu.
All
yes,
right. I know of this Amala joint.
Where are you going? Vicky, please continue. Leave us with that. Oh no.
Sorry, Egbo.
I will read your communique when you are done. Leave me out of this again.
We can do it pari passu. I mean, COVID has taught us there are other ways. I mean, a different way of life. So I think we can explore that option if it helps.
No problem.
All right, so we'll let you know what we come up with. We just want to have plans for the rest of the year and just plan it and get us set for the rest of the year. But we'll let you know. So I'm actually looking forward to our catch-up time. We'll need to talk about, do we want families to come also, just a time for everyone to chill, and then we can set some time apart to do our thing, or we just want to focus on our mala and the planning. We'll talk about that later. Thank you, our viewers. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you again, same time next Saturday. You all stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.